He's known for being a chameleon voice actor, able to go from shouty, intense shonen roles to deeper, darker, and twisted performances that make your jaw drop in awe. He's a renowned voice actor in Japan and now even owner and CEO of his own seiyuu talent agency, Raccoon Dog. In this episode, we'll dive into the world of voice acting through the eyes of one of Japan's most renowned seiyuu, Nobuhiko Okamoto, exploring his career journey, the evolving changes in the voice acting industry, and the passion that drives his performances. So let's kick off this episode of Seiyuu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyuu Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is the voice acting industry through Nobuhiko Okamoto's eyes. So Nobuhiko Okamoto has lent his voice to numerous iconic characters, including the explosive Katsuki Bakugo from My Hero Academia and the determined Rin Okamura from Blue Exorcist. His versatility and ability to breathe life into a wide range of personalities have made him a standout in the competitive world of voice acting, and he has been consistently one of the biggest names in the industry for over a decade. Now let's talk a bit about his path in the voice acting industry and his thoughts about the big changes in the industry currently in Japan, especially because he brings not only his experience as a voice actor but also as the CEO of a seiyuu talent agency, Raccoon Dog. The path to voice acting. Okamoto's journey into voice acting was shaped by two key factors: his love for anime and an early exposure to voice acting work through his mother's volunteer activities, as she used to read stories for visually impaired people. That opened the doors for him to know and get curious about voice acting and narration. Interestingly enough, his initial career aspirations were quite different. Nobuhiko says, "Initially, I aimed to become a professional shogi player, but I switched to voice acting when I struggled with shogi. Unlike shogi, where every move could be criticized, acting felt more positive and encouraging." This shift in focus occurred around middle school, marking the beginning of his dedication to voice acting. Okamoto's parents played a crucial role in supporting this dream, while ensuring he had a backup plan. He added, "My parents suggested I attended regular high school while also going to a training school. They set a deadline. If I couldn't secure a regular voice acting role by age 20, I'd have to find another career." Such was the support, but at the same time, he brought a touch of reality to his life. The voice acting industry was tough, still is, to get into. Back then, when he debuted, it was even more difficult to get into. And there was already a lot of competition, many people with similar voices, so only true, unique talent could stand out and get those opportunities to shine. What his parents highlighted here, even if subtly, is that Nobuhiko Okamoto had to be genuinely good to get a regular voice acting role. They wanted him to achieve that, and not being just another person who tried voice acting, felt overwhelmed, was never chosen to any projects in a regular cast capacity, and ended up giving up on his passion, like what happens unfortunately to most aspiring seiyuu in Japan. The voice acting industry is changing. Okamoto shared his thoughts on the current popularity of voice acting in Japan and overseas, and how it has transformed the industry as a whole. He says, "The increasing popularity of voice acting has broadened the scope of what we do, including appearances on variety shows and other media. It's exciting and has created a more diverse image of voice actors. This expansion has allowed, of course, voice actors new avenues and showcase their talent beyond traditional voice acting work. We have talked plenty of times about that here in this podcast. This, of course, has led to many voice actors showcasing impressive talents and skills in other areas, still tied in some way to their work as voice actors, for example, but at times even in areas that have nothing to do with voice acting, that are vastly creative but are not that, such as writing, designing both for fashion and game development, and even singer-songwriters and directors. For Okamoto, who describes himself as an atypical voice actor, this diversity aligns well with his approach to the craft. If you are aware, Nobuhiko Okamoto also has a career as a solo artist. He writes some of the lyrics for his music and has been a big presence in Seiyuto Yoasobi, the popular talk show, as well as a presenter for other variety shows and talk shows about otome games and projects. So he's branched out quite a lot himself, and he's seeing that the industry is evolving and making things more interesting for Seiyu by providing them with a wide variety of activities that they can do and branch out to. Okamoto's unique approach. Well, unlike many of his peers, Okamoto developed his skills through observation and mimicry rather than formal training. He says, "I was never a typical voice actor. I learned through observing and mimicking others. I enjoy imagining how characters would react emotionally, and I find it fascinating." This unconventional method has contributed to Okamoto's ability to portray a wide variety of characters with a wide variety of emotional ranges, from the hot-headed Bakugo to the more reserved Takumi Usui in Maid-sama. This is also a big reason why he stands out among other seiyuu that may sound too perfect or by the book in terms of their skill. Okamoto appears as an outlier, bringing a unique skill set that deviates from traditional voice acting training, making him quite unique in the eyes of everyone. Advice for aspiring voice actors. Okamoto offered inspiring words for those pursuing their dreams, whether in voice acting or other fields. He says, "Never give up on your dreams because they can definitely come true. However, be open to other paths. Having multiple dreams can increase the chances of achieving one of them." He emphasized the importance of flexibility and openness to new opportunities, of course, drawing from his own experience of transitioning from shogi to voice acting. At the same time, when he says that it's good to have multiple dreams, he actually makes a good point. If one fails, you can always focus on the other, so chances are you won't feel defeated and will keep on pushing towards achieving another dream. It's that concept of not putting all your eggs in one basket. It applies even better for creative work such as voice acting, which is really volatile, as one moment you can be the hottest star and everyone wants you in their anime series, and the other you can be underappreciated seiyuu and not have any work whatsoever and having to juggle a full-time job with voice acting on the side. Nobuhiko adds that even if your initial dream changes, it can still lead to something fulfilling. I hope that those focused solely on one goal can also see the value in exploring other possibilities. By now, we've checked the opinions of various voice actors, both male and female, veterans and superstars, about the changes in the voice acting industry. It is interesting to see that veterans are worried about some changes while pointing out that the industry isn't changing in the areas it should, particularly when it comes to their pay per episode or project. Veterans also bring their experience, having went through various changes in the industry from being basically solely focused on voice acting in anime, narration and dubbing, to what it now is, which is a mix of different fields within the entertainment industry. Superstars like Yuki Kaji bring the worry about how AI may come to steal money and performance rights from seiyuu, and even the dangers that AI can pose in other fields and the potential it has to cause chaos. Nobuhiko Okamoto has a more optimistic overlook of the changes in the industry. He's a voice actor and simultaneously a CEO of a talent agency housing over 20 different seiyuu and even teaching aspiring ones. And you can tell that positivity comes from thinking that maybe some of the talents in his agency and even the ones he's training at the moment may encounter a rough time in the voice acting industry if they were not presented with as many options to branch out as seiyuu now have. In a way, the fact that the industry has allowed seiyuu to not focus on just one particular part and giving them the opportunity to try new things, explore more creative avenues and passions, and bring all that experience to their work is a positive. I would have loved to know what he thinks about the fact that seiyuu can now do whatever they want in parallel with their voice acting work, and how people from different backgrounds, for example, stage actors, professional singers, utaites, vocaloids, can also make a jump to voice acting and compete for the same roles that Seiyu want to get. This would have been one of my questions if I had the opportunity to interview him, for example. Alas, this was an episode based on an interview from this year given by Nobuhiko Okamoto to a YouTube channel. You can find the link in the description. But enough about what I think. Now tell me, what do you think about Okamoto's opinion that these changes in the voice acting industry are actually a positive for voice actors? Let me know in the comments on YouTube, and remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of Seiyu Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the Handed Feeds HQ's weekly male Seiyu and music related content, hit the subscribe button. And if you are listening to this episode on a podcast listening platform, please consider following the podcast and leaving a review. Leaving a review is really simple and helps other people find this podcast and fall in love with male Seiyu artists and 2D groups. I'll return next week with another episode of Seiyu Lounge. The next one is going to be about a specific CD that I love a whole lot, and I believe most of you also love it a whole lot. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you guys around.